Go ahead and name the 5 departments of Roscaelifer. I'll give you a few seconds. Very good. Or not quite? I don't know, I can't hear you. Look, whether you're able to name them or not, there's a good chance you hardly have much to go on when it comes to what each department is. The 5 are as follows. The AAD, Administrative Affairs Department, in charge of the island of Roscaelifer at large. You can think of them as the government. The APD, Airspace Patrol Department, in charge of maintaining peace and order within the island and around it. Think of them as Roscaelifer's public security, hand, and defense force all mashed into one. The CCD, Central Computing Department, chiefly in charge of the extraordinarily important Rosetta data, a concept we will elaborate on later. The ESD, External Strategy Department, in charge of communication with New Eridu, as well as other miscellaneous Bangbu matters. And finally, Flint Workshop, in charge of research, development, and production of products and items made with the miracle substance, Flint porcelloi. You know the drill, unless you're a new viewer. Let's go through each of them, one by one. The AAD is, of course, the department of administrating the island of Roscaelifer. They're headquartered at the very top of the airspace control tower, above the CCD. The leader of this department, as well as the island as a whole, is Eldrada Sunbringer, the eldest of Sunbringer's 3 split selves by appearance. She has led the island for as long as she has been around, and has done so justly to the support of her people. She is so well loved that one must wonder if this perfection is only a front. Eldrada has many she confides in, including an assistant in the form of Carinus, taking the role of deputy director of the AAD. The Administrative Affairs Department doesn't govern alone. They oversee councils that put the power in the people's hands. Meetings happen in the open at CCD Square, right outside the airspace control tower for any curious citizen to witness. One such council is for the district of Buastrum, known as the Buastrum Small Council. There is also an island-wide Council of Representatives that seats the heads of various sub-departments. There is Edward, director of the Energy Management Center, which oversees the energy hub below the city. Reginald, head of the Bangbu Affairs Delegation that advocates for the equality of human and Bangbu civil rights. Hilda, head of the People's Affairs Delegation for a similar civic purpose. And Violet, head of the Roscaelifer Merchant Delegation, the RMD. All of these organizations fall under the jurisdiction of the AAD and sit at the Council of Representatives table. The Merchant Delegation, RMD, also has more under its umbrella. Notably, every business falls under them, no matter how big or small. You can see most of them for yourself by wandering around, but there is also a recurring name you see throughout Roscaelifer that I suspect is part of the RMD as well, Enbar Express. Using the name and visual context clues, my deduction is that this company's role is similar to that of Pegasus Logistics in New Eridu. That is to say, it's Amazon same-day shipping. Airspace Patrol is Sky PubSec. They ensure the safety of all Roscaelifer natives, stopping threats within and without. Amongst their ranks are humans and Bangbu, and can be seen patrolling the streets or at Patrol Boo booths, thus confirming Bangbu are more likely to be employed than a gacha game player on average. The APD is run by Lindvern Sunbringer, the middle of the 3 by appearance. At the time of this video, she has yet to appear, meaning there isn't much else to go on. What can be said is she places a lot of trust and even admiration in her second-in-command, Deputy Administrative Director Sigrid. Sigrid takes charge when Lindvern is otherwise unavailable, and she has earned a legendary reputation. Airspace Patrol is first to respond at the slightest disturbance in the city. This could be as simple as Norma blowing up an academy room, and as threatening as singularity leakage within the energy hub. More often than not, the APD must contend with ethereals from these leakages or inside Scommel Hollow. Because of this, each officer is equipped and trained for combat. And should an external threat ever make itself present, it is Airspace Patrol that will stand between it and Roscaelifer. The role of the CCD is perhaps the simplest of the 5 departments, but its importance is arguably the greatest. Their myriad workers spend their days keeping the Rosetta data up to date. Within the erratic hollow environment, laying out any sort of map is nearly impossible. But the Rosetta data is an incredibly complex master set of data that can turn unknowns into knowns. Every caret is cross-checked against the Rosetta data to ensure its accuracy. Bangbu and human workers alike within the CCD work non-stop on calculating and processing the Rosetta data. Without this, the data would quickly become out of date. The Mayflower administration of New Eridu, as well as the HIA, are reliant on their tireless work. The Central Computing Department is situated in the middle of Buastrom, at the base of the Airspace Control Tower. Just outside is a plaza area known as CCD Square, an ironic name considering the most prevalent thing to occur here are AAD council meetings. Most CCD workers report to their boss, the Deputy Administrative Director of the CCD, Cora. Cora is also the assistant of the head of the department, Dracena Sunbringer, the youngest of the three Sunbringers by appearance. Let's discuss the Sunbringers for a moment. Dracena is gifted with an incredible mind. She can understand and work out nearly any technical problem. However, she appears to lack an authoritative leadership sense and extended combat capabilities. It is my belief that when Sunbringer split herself into three, she didn't give each partition an equal proficiency in each of her proficient fields. The original was a decorated leader, a cunning warrior, and an astute genius. Eldrada is a leader, Lindvern is a warrior, and Dracena is a genius. That's not to say Eldrada is dumb or that Lindvern can't lead her people into battle. It's just that they will never surpass their sister that was born for their role. Eldrada is intelligent, but she can't calculate Rosetta data. Lindvern can lead, but she can't take charge of the island. Dracena can fight, but she can't wipe out hordes without breaking a sweat. This is all conjecture, of course, based on what I believe to be true. The ESD links the island of Roscaelifer to the world below, primarily New Eridu. They maintain good relations with notable entities, including Mayor Mayflower and Marcel Group. It's unclear how much sway the ESD has over what direction Marcel Group decides to take Bangbu. But when the ESD needs to operate in New Eridu, they will adopt the Marcel Group name as a cover. The ESD is responsible for what is known as retirement for Bangbu. Once their service years in Roscaelifer come to an end, their memories are wiped because of the island's classified nature, and they are sent down to New Eridu to live anew. Bangbu view this almost as death, which is hard to disagree with. This has led to the ESD receiving an incredibly poor reputation among the Bangbu populace, with the disdain most of all directed towards its administrative director, Valina. Valina juggles many responsibilities in her role, with one of them requiring her to essentially babysit the ESD's chaotic chief technician, Norma. While Bangbu fear Valina for her piercing gaze and dread of retirement, they fear Norma because she's batshit insane. Despite her position within the External Strategy Department, Norma is responsible for designing many frames and mechs of war, often putting way too much into her projects. Both Valina and Norma earn the trust and respect of the Bangbu following the events of Season 3, Chapter 1, where they show that they do truly care for Bangbu. The ESD runs a school in Buastrom called Aurelia Academy, a place where students receive standard education alongside specialized courses focused on Bangbu and Ether. It's a quiet campus. On a normal day, for some reason, Norma has a lab in one of the basements. Some students have gotten used to her potential for chaos. And the final department, Flint Workshop. Not much can be said about them just yet, but what we do have is very important. Flint is a family bloodline of forgers, specializing in the craft of flint porcelain items. Porcelain is an incredible material with miraculous properties, and as such, it is used for weapons of great power, such as Void Hunter weapons. Most Void Hunter weapons are said to have been forged by Flint Workshop. Though they are considered a department of Roscaelifer, they are a distinct entity and are granted autonomy. They honor a pact with the city that stood for generations, providing equipment and hardware from their home on the islet of Virium. Some very observant folks have even noticed that Grace's nail gun bears the Flint name. Those are the 5 departments of Roscaelifer as we know them now. Did you learn a thing or two? Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments or in my Discord server. If you're interested in more discussion, give it a look. Link in the description. You better get those acronyms memorized. There will be a quiz. My name has been Glastic. Thank you for watching. On Everyone's Soul, we are all pulling Sigrid. Heed the Hollow's call.